Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. 10 forward number 4.
We just discussed this.
Star Trek Discovery. So yes, we didn't announce this at the end of last week's episode because it was recorded way in advance. We didn't know exactly when things would be falling, and we didn't exactly have our plans worked out for how the hell to address Discovery. So here we are. We are going to talk about the first 2 episodes that just premiered this week via CBS All-Access. We are going to skip our usual sort of procedure of giving summaries because we figure, if you're here, you probably just watched it. We're gonna leap directly into the complaints! Possibly.
Wow.
No, see, everybody
That was
always
amazing.
thinks that he says it really long like that. It's really just, cannon!
No, that's not Kirk. That's just Nerd Jake.
Bitch, I'm making a joke.
Dude,
Oh.
you ruined a joke.
Sorry.
I'm
bad at you.
Ames.
All right, I haven't introduced ourselves, have I? I'm all kerfuffled. So yes, welcome... Oh.
Wow.
That's a Vulcan Hello.
This is Chris, and today I'm joined by...
Ames.
Caitlin.
And Takuma.
Oh, sorry, I'm...
No, I could understand what you were saying, so you didn't do it right.
So yes, we're going to be...
What was one of those names? Vok?
Vulcan.
Can I be Koch?
So yeah, what the hell were these episodes called? The Vulcan Hello and...
The battle at the binary stars.
Not
The
the
battle
battle.
of the battle of the
creative
Bulge?
titles.
No.
The
I
battle...
like the
I'm sorry.
Vulcan Hello as a title.
The Vulcan Hello was good, but I didn't... Battle at the binary stars is like...
Yeah, it's just what
It
happens.
sounds like a battle hymn. Sounds like...
It sounds like...
Glory, glory, hallelujah! Glory, glory, hallelujah! Glory, glory, hallelujah! Takuma marches on!
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, first episode title, not bad. Second episode title, forgettable. Sounds like an episode of the Clone Wars or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, where the hell are we going to start with this one?
How did everybody watch? Damn. Sorry, Caitlin.
That's alright.
I know they want to get it off their chest, so...
What do you mean, how did everybody watch? Oh, you mean because... Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's a... So, if you're not familiar with the situation, this is a not television Star Trek. This is a internet Star Trek, like Star Trek New Voyages, or Star Trek Continues.
But not on YouTube or something sensible.
Yes, it's on CBS. CBS is on-demand, demandingly expensive, all-access platform.
Yes, it's see, in international regions, CBS is doing the sensible thing and going with an existing streaming service. They're releasing Discovery via Netflix. But for those of us in the United States, we're being punished by this horrifically badly designed and implemented shit pile, CBS All-Access.
Well, you know why? Because America is the only place where there's, like, a high enough concentration of nerds for them to make money off of this model.
I don't know
Possibly.
if they will.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah,
I just-
They're gonna assume that, nobody wants to watch Star Trek because no one's buying into this stupid thing and everyone's downloading illegally because that's what most people are gonna be doing.
I bet their sales went way up, though.
Listen.
Yeah, I mean, they sold
yeah.
a shitload. I know.
They
I
sold
mean,
a
I
shit
know.
load,
I
and
yesterday.
they're gonna like cancel the second the season's
Well,
over.
that's what you gotta hope, is that they'll see that. They'll see, oh boy, we've got all these subscribers. It's actually gonna be fiscally solvent. Last episode of the season airs, everybody cancels. They go, eh. Or, alternately, one thing I saw someone mention online is like, they'll just wait for the season to finish, get the 1 week free trial, binge Discovery, and cancel before the trial is up.
Yeah, but there's no way you could... Even though it's only 15 episodes, there's no way you could watch all of those in
a week?
No, all the commercials. Oh, my
Oh,
God.
the commercials are bad. The commercials are really bad.
Yeah, well, or you get the commercial-free one, which still gives you a 2-day trial. You do it over a long weekend, you make no plans, you can do it.
Oh, there's
This
no commercial trial?
Yeah, it's two business
Only
days
2
instead of a week.
days. Yeah.
2 days, not business days.
But still, you could still do that. I mean, I could
Yeah.
watch all of this series in, like, one sick day.
Yeah.
Yeah, these episodes were really fast, I found.
Yeah, so the hope is that in a perfect world, CBS's numbers will show that Discovery was really popular, but their garbage bespoke streaming service isn't. And they'll just finally go, okay, fine, and release future seasons of it via Netflix in the United States as well. Because, here's the thing, CBS has no shows. They've got The Big Bang Theory, which any self-respecting human being loathes. I will freely admit I haven't been into it for a few years because I was young and stupid, but I came to my senses. There's the spin-off, Young Sheldon, which, that's some good casting, because I haven't even heard the kid talk, but I already want to see someone beat the shit out of him more than I wanted to see someone beat the shit out of the kid that played Joffrey. I know they're actors, I know they can't help it, but I already hate that mealy-mouthed little fuck. Meanwhile, there's 8,000 seasons of NCI fucking S. Everyone's parents' favorite program since Monk ended. What?
I love Monk.
We can't leave that in.
Stop me, I'm the editor.
I own this microphone.
Also, there's Frasier.
Is Frasier on there? That's the thing, like, there are some shows
The
on
Odd
there.
Couple is on there. What the fuck's not
So that's, I was going to get to that. So, like, there are some shows on there that look interesting.
No, but seriously, you gotta take out this mealy-mouthed fuck you gonna punch in the face. That's... You know who you sound like when you get like that?
Me!
No. Who's that guy? Alex Jones? Is that his name?
Oh, the InfoWars,
The InfoWars guy?
The guy who, like, is a spluttering, gibbering asshole and just says really stupid things. You get a little...
But see,
Jonesy.
And your face turns about as red.
He wants to commit genocide. I just want to see a child smacked.
No, Alex Jones just wants to make a profit off of his terrible line of accessories.
Well,
and,
that too.
In conspiracy theory
so
bonk, bonk on
products.
the
When
head.
we're making money, you can act like Alex Jones. Until then, keep it to a 9,
We
will
should
you?
just come up with some garbage to sell people.
There we go.
There's 1,000 Kevin James vehicles on there, too, aren't there?
a bunch of NCIS. Like, there are shows... But that's the thing, like, that's the problem, is they do have stuff on there that, like, it's like, oh yeah, if you were the only source for this, okay. But they're not, you know? And then there are a few things, like, they have Taxi and The Odd Couple, the original, not their shitty new one.
And Frasier. Oh, baby, I hear the blues.
God.
Quets.
But Frasier is on Netflix, so I don't need it for Frasier.
Are we going to talk about Star Trek on
In
this
a
Star
bloody
Trek
minute,
show?
I am mocking CBS All-Access.
We're never going to get to talk
This
about
is
Star
terrible.
Trek.
They should put a thing at the beginning that says, if you want to hear about Star Trek, fast forward to 11 minutes and 50 seconds.
If you would stop interrupting me, I could get done with my tear. Anyway, I grew up on reruns of The Odd Couple and Taxi. I'd like to be able to watch those again, but they've only got, like, random episodes. They don't even have the full seasons. It's dumb.
Fucking
Also,
pricks.
the PS4 app took forever to get going, and then it crashed at some point. I'm told the Xbox One worked fine.
Well, I have to say, I Chromecasted it from my tablet, and after one of the, I think it was after the 17th or 18th commercial break.
Of the same commercial over and over again.
Yeah, it was like, the 6
no
different
shit.
commercials that were in rotation. Anyway, yeah, CBS,
Mr.
I know you're listening. So, and Chris, Chris is very heated right now, so I'm going to lay it down to you in the soothing way that only I can. You see, your platform is bad, and you should feel bad. And we like Star Trek, and we want to see Star Trek. And we would even pay for the pleasure of seeing Star Trek. We just don't want to see it on your shitty platform. We want to see it on a better platform. And if you are going to make us pay for the pleasure to see your Star Trek on your shitty platform, then don't play a billion ads. Don't call it ad light or reduced ads or whatever the fuck you called it. That was terrible. There was a billion ads.
Less soothing, Jake. You're losing
To
your
be
food.
fair, it is less ads than if you just watched an hour of ads.
That's true.
Not by much.
Oh, that was my mistake.
Yeah. I was like, I can put up with like Hulu style ads.
So how about Star Trek?
Yeah, sorry. So the failings of its delivery aside,
I quite enjoyed it.
I still don't know if I like it or not.
Oh, I like it.
I'm
thought it
cautiously
I
optimistic.
thought it was great. I'll be honest.
I probably liked it the least then.
I'll tell you what I liked. I'll tell you what I liked. I'll tell you what I think could be done better.
Okay.
Okay.
I liked that it's Star Trek.
Is it though?
Yes.
Because this is my gripe.
By definition, it is Star
Well, yes,
Trek.
you can't just use the fucking definition.
You can't decide what is not Star Trek.
Just because it has Star Trek in the fucking title doesn't mean it's not Star Trek.
Is it called Star Trek? Is it made by the company that makes Star Trek? Does it have the Federation and Starfleet and Klingons and Vulcans?
Are there stars and also Treks?
This cat is going to fall off the counter.
Is there transporters?
Jake, save that cat.
Is there that noise on the bridge that goes wee wee when they walk in? Yes! So therefore it is Star Trek.
Although, being fair, the bwee bwee is a return to form. The bwee bwee went away for a long time.
They put that was...
It was, I mean, they popped it in the Kelvin timeline.
It was in the Kelvin.
But this is the first time it's in the, like...
Yeah. I mean,
see, to be fair, I also say the Kelvin timeline is in Star Trek.
Well,
but
I will see where you're coming
that's
from.
Kelvin
more
Star Trek.
on that.
It's slight
I will agree with you to an extent that it is that I feel like Kelvin Star Trek has a unfamiliar tone from the rest of Star Trek.
You are familiar with this tone of everything being dark and lit from behind?
Well, I mean, visual tone, perhaps, but
you are familiar with this tone of not letting any of the characters be characters and only focusing on the one chick?
Well, what's his nuts? Saru. He was a character.
Saru didn't get to do a... Saru had one defining quality, and that's that he gets freaked out when there's danger.
He
there
got
was
to be
a
kind of
whole-
sassy. Him and Burnham have kind of a thing, clearly. Not a thing. I mean, like, they've got a shtick. They've got a patter. There's an almost... I don't know who to compare it to. It's not like Spock McCoy, but they're sort of a grudging...
Yeah, they're like adversaries.
They're friends, but they're also kind of in competition a little.
Would you say they were frenemies?
No, I hate that word. It's dumb.
But here's the thing, though. Like, they're not going to flesh out a lot of these characters because they just killed them all.
I'm gonna kill a handful of them.
Well, they killed a lot of them.
Yeah, it wasn't... Here's maybe where I'm thinking. Like, it's odd as a premiere.
I'll agree with that.
Because
they drop you right in.
You don't learn a lot about the people. You learn a lot about the circumstance.
Yeah, here. Okay, yes. I will agree with you on that because I think that, first of all, here's another CBS gripe. Sorry to go off topic on that, but this was one episode. How dare you? How dare you call this 2 episodes? This was a
2-hour premiere.
A feature-length premiere. The only reason to have split it into 2 episodes was to force people to watch it on All-Access because they played the first quoth episode on broadcast terrestrial television, and then they played the quoth second episode only on the internet. And it was a goddamn cliffhanger, and this was 1 episode.
Actually,
God damn it!
That might explain why the second episode title is kind of lackluster if this was decided later by the network.
I guarantee
And they split it in half. They're like, oh, fuck, we need Vulcan Hello Part 2.
You're gonna like the way you look, Chris. I guarantee it.
The Vulcan, yes, it's still nice you're here.
The Vulcan, how you doing?
The Vulcan, we don't tell you what you need to know until you really need to know it.
Vulcans are still Vulcans.
Consistent.
Vulcans are still Vulcans. Klingons are something.
And the Vulcans are still showing us new shit they can do.
Yes, they are.
We're 1/2/1 episode in, and we already are seeing some new bullshit we didn't know Vulcans could do.
He
fucking put a Horcrux in
the Telecatra.
He did some fucking wizarding, Jake.
That's a serious wizarding right there.
Like, not to jump balls deep into this 1.5 episode, but what the fuck? Sarek can just fucking Horcrux his fucking ward?
And
it's because he
finger banged her.
No, she was a child at that point.
So I think what happened was she was dead. Or like very close to death. And he downloaded a little bit of himself, did a little remembering on her. And that's why he said, "I gave you a piece of myself, my Katra."
Yeah.
And that's why we have like a
telepathic
a connection now.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. And has that ever happened before?
No.
I'm certain it hasn't.
No, and that's really in a way.
Will it ever happen again?
In a way, see, there's for
I
all
bet
that
it will happen again, so that they can keep having Sarek come along and giving all the nerds boners.
I mean, the only other time we've seen a Vulcan give his Katra to somebody was Spock Katraing McCoy, and then dying immediately.
We will see it in Enterprise as well.
Do they die immediately?
Spoilers.
Without giving away too much, someone is actually ferrying someone else's Katra.
Is it me?
No. And it's, this guy who is this Vulcan is carrying another Vulcan's Katra. And he's not going cuckoo balls. So, as we posited in Star Trek 3, a Vulcan can hold another Vulcan's Katra more successfully than a human can hold a Vulcan Katra.
Especially
so it's like how Johnny Mnemonic had extra storage built into his brain?
Yes.
That's how Vulcans do?
Yes. So this guy's dying, but he's like, oh god, this Katra I'm carrying is more important than mine, and he downloads the other Katra into someone else's mind as he's dying.
Oh, that's
so,
interesting.
yeah.
Oh.
But it is an interesting new Vulcan superpower.
Yep.
They're always getting us with new ones.
Yeah. That's great.
That's how you know it is Star Trek.
But
That's true. That's the one Star Trek-y thing.
There's a couple Star Trek-y things, but I'll get to those.
But it definitely seems like it is a rare thing. It doesn't happen often, and it was implied that it took a great amount of effort for Sarek to
maintain the link.
You know what else we've just learned Vulcans can do? Is they can perch on the ledges of desks that they're not actually in the room with.
Well, let's just get real. Let's just be realistic here.
Much.
He obviously
I did too.
Had the exact same furniture layout in the room.
Just in case you ever call.
Yeah. I left your room exactly how you left it.
Full of my Katra.
I mean, what's kind of amazing about this is that you get the sense already that Sarek gives more of a fuck about Burnham than he does about Spock.
Yeah.
And
he
it's
likes
so funny.
humans. He hates Vulcans.
And he, part of the reason him and Spock fell out was because Spock decided to join Starfleet. Meanwhile, Sarek's just like, go, join Starfleet. I'm done dealing with you.
Yeah, I got the impression, though, that she maybe got thrown out of some Vulcan stuff.
She just graduated. But they probably decided not to let her on an all-Vulcan ship, so he was like, oh, this is awkward.
I mean, she's also a fucking screw-up, right? Like, that's obvious that she has, like, not just a screw-up, but, like, kind of a shithead?
Her head is shit?
Why do you think she's a shithead screw-up?
She loses...
Because she fucking does everything wrong.
The thing is, you get the sense that until the Klingons showed up and she lost sight of reason, she wasn't. But yes, we witnessed her on a really bad day.
She wasn't thinking logically.
Exactly.
I mean, spoiler alert, the episode ends with her being sent to the brig for life.
Yeah.
Star Trek, Orange is the New Black.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I disagree. I mean, maybe the life sentence is a little extreme.
Well, because there's only one death sentence in Federation now.
Yeah, that's right.
Except that may not have been established yet, because I'm not sure when that happened.
Oh, you know what kind of bummed me out about the show? Is that none of the ships that showed up were Constitution class. I think it would have been a nice little nod if one of the ships...
Maybe they just don't have it yet.
It's only 10 years earlier. The Enterprise should already be...
out there somewhere.
Under Pike, I would think. Like, this is about the same time as the Talos incident.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of debate and discussion about it. And
I bet you they'll save it for the finale or some shit.
Or, like, if it makes it more than one season, it'll show up during sweeps.
So who's going to show up as, like, a badly CG'd person a la, like, Star Wars 7?
Oh, no, I don't think we're going to get the Enterprise first. We'll get one of the other ones. We'll maybe get the USS Constitution, NX, whatever the fuck its registry was, or the Constellation, or what the fuck, I don't even remember the names of the other ones.
Farragut.
If anything, if we ever see the Enterprise, it'll probably be towards the end of the show's run.
Yeah, and I doubt we will see anyone on it.
Maybe you'll just hear the voice. You'll hear the voice of Kirk.
Yeah.
And it'll be it. That's my prediction.
Yeah, no, I did like how Commander Starfleet's ship kind of
I like that he's Commander Starfleet now.
Admiral Starfleet.
Admiral Starfleet. I did like how Admiral Starfleet's ship
literally cut in half.
Well, yes, but it also, I don't know if you noticed it, like, I liked the Starfleet ship designs.
Yeah.
And that one kind of reminded me of, like, maybe like a prototype Miranda class.
They all look like jewelry pendants.
Well, so what they're doing with this, you can sort of tell, like, and this is one of the things I noticed, because this is what I do. They are doing a decent job in a way of sort of filling the gap between Enterprise and the original series. Because a lot of this is very Enterprise. the ship designs, the uniforms, the bridge even is much more sort of stark and gray, and it was better lit on Enterprise, like you said. This one's lit much more darkly.
I wonder if that's just the aesthetic of the time right now. Jake and I watch another sci-fi show called The Expanse, which is also very it's a lot of high-tech gadgetry, which reminded me a lot of this.
Yeah, well, I think
Expanse is really good.
Jake, I think you were saying, I can't remember if it was on air or not, or one of you, maybe it was...
Ow?
Talking about the fact that, because of the nature of TVs once upon a time, they had to brightly light TV shows just because they had to work across sort of a wide range of models, a lot of abilities. Nowadays, they know most folks have at least low-end HD, so they can be a bit more cinematic in their lighting and design.
This is super cinematic.
Yeah.
I thought this was practically, this felt like it wanted to be a movie.
Yeah, no, it definitely did.
Yeah.
But, so it's interesting, though, because she mentions specifically during one of the flashbacks that the Shenzhou is an older model, which is why it has those weird transporters. The Discovery has an even lower registry number than the Shenzhou, which means it's an even older ship. So you get the idea by sort of seeing these two, Starfleet, it looks like probably is still mostly NX type, sort of just saucer with nacelles, like you said, Jake, very Miranda. The Discovery maybe is now canonically one of the first ships to sort of have the very distinct saucer and engineering hull. And even then, it's not quite the engineering hull we're going to come to know because it's triangular. And there's a lot of sort of triangular, even the Shenzhou has sort of a triangular thing going on. It's like they haven't quite hit on the cylindrical engineering section quite yet.
Yeah.
That they'll get to with the Constitution class and will, influence the Excelsior and the Ambassador and things like that. So in a way, it is filling in some gaps without stating it explicitly.
We're so exciting, guys.
Mm-hmm. How about them Klingons?
I feel like this is they were bound to be controversy no matter what, or at least conversation.
Yeah, my big complaint about the Klingons is not the makeup change. I say my big complaint is that it didn't seem as though they ADR'd the voices.
Yeah.
And they had horrible prosthetic teeth that made them sound really muffled.
I wonder if that was kind of intentional, as they sound like they're eating garbage.
I mean, the main issue for me was just the lead guy to what was his name?
T'Kuvma.
T'Kuvma, the guy who played him, I said this when we were watching, it sounded like he was...
Chris Obi
sounded like he was actively in pain when he was speaking Klingon.
That's how Klingons work, though.
But I mean, there was something very halting and strained in a way that other Klingons haven't had in the past, and even other Klingons in this episode didn't have. Vok, the albino Klingon, when he spoke Klingon,
very smooth.
It was much smoother. He didn't sound like he was in agony.
I wonder if that was intentional, because he's kind of doing a rallying the troops, we're gonna fuck him up thing. It reminds me kind of like how Hitler spoke really haltingly. There were a lot of short bursts and lots of space. I wonder if that's intentional. They wanted him to... He's sort of...
Maybe. I mean, he's clearly...
I could be wrong. He could just be in pain.
He's clearly a fanatic.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think, Jake, you'll have to fill me on this one, because this is where my knowledge is very watery. But don't we see bits and pieces of sort of Klingon religious fanaticism in later series?
Yeah.
Well, I guess earlier, because now, wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
Don't we get occasional glimpses of, crazier sort of Klingons here and there scattered throughout TNG and DS9?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely Klingons who are fundamentalists.
Yeah, and this seems to be sort of... This is their great revival.
Chang, for example. He's kind of a Chang-like character.
Thank God he isn't just doing Shakespeare quotes the whole time.
That's true.
Jesus Christ.
I'll take halting Klingon over constant, unending Shakespeare.
Cut to Chang. What light through yonder window breaks? That makes no sense.
Though, I mean, I don't need a lot of it, but if we do just get one quick shot of maybe Vok reading any of them. And
Tale of Two Cities.
That's Dickens.
And also relevant to the Star Trek.
Oh!
Kirk was
I thought you were trying to make another joke I wasn't getting, and I was trying to run with it, but I failed. I apologize. I'm bad at jokes.
It was the best
It
of
wasn't
times.
a joke.
The
I
worst
was
of
just
times.
making a reference.
No, I know, but I thought it was sorry.
You're right. He'll be reading Titus Andronicus.
They like that one. That one's particularly bloody.
Yes, it is. They would love it.
Oh
They probably think it was a comedy.
Sorry.
Wow. And when Jake says it's gone off the rails, we've clearly pawned far enough.
You know what else I didn't find very Star Trek-y was the opening credit sequence.
Oh, I loved it, though.
It's pretty. It's for a fucking movie or a documentary.
It reminded me a little bit of the Hannibal credits. Did you ever see Hannibal?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the Hannibal credits.
I've seen their credits.
Well, Brian Fuller was involved for a little while, so he may have brought along similar designers, and even if after he left, maybe some of them stuck around.
That's the thing. That style is somewhat in vogue right now. It reminds me of the title sequences to other shows that I've seen recently.
Like what?
Well, it reminds me a little bit of the Expanse opener. A little bit.
Yeah. A lot of Expanse similarities.
The 100 has a similar sort of thing.
I mean, how many times can we really watch a ship float through space while...
Never again after the motion picture. Like, literally never again.
Well, no, like the TNG opening, the DS9 opening, the Voyager opening, it's all just ships going through space while soft music swells. Like, Enterprise tried to break away with a little by showing the sort of the footage of the history of exploratory vessels through the years, but still went like, yeah, but ships in space.
Yeah, and if it weren't for the music, I think the Enterprise opener would have been fine. I think if they had chosen a different score.
Or even just, that song is, maybe even just another song would have been fine.
That's what I'm saying,
a listener mentioned on Facebook the other day, although it might be my personal Facebook, not the group, but either way, that they actually originally wanted a U2 song called Beautiful Day.
Oh, no.
Which, honestly, I'd take it over the garbage we got.
No, I don't want that either. I don't want any fucking pop song as Star Trek theme song.
The only lyrics in a Star Trek theme song should be Gene Roddenberry lyrics. God damn it.
The only lyrics should be row, row, row your boat.
Yes. And we'll say, the theme, I like that the theme music had,
I've already forgotten the theme music, and we've watched it 4 times now.
Nods to
the original
series
and Kelvin. Or no, the Kelvin wasn't in the theme, was it? But it was early in the episode.
Yeah,
when they're first on planet. Sorry,
but I did like that it had nods to that. I will say though, it's not the most hummable song. Like it's not like something that's you're not going to be sitting around at work going da 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 da.
Oh, see, it's already been getting stuck in my fucking head.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Chris has a very special head.
That's true.
I am a little obsessed with music and aesthetics and shit. I definitely prefer it to, say, Voyager's theme.
Is that the one with the really bad lyrics?
No, there's no words, but it's just rather dreary and forgettable.
I actually like Voyager's theme.
Really? Fair enough.
I think I actually like Voyager's theme better than DS9.
Which one is Voyager's theme, Jake?
Da 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 da
Oh yeah, that is good.
But yeah, no, I feel like we got slightly off course from the Klingons, and I feel like they probably are one of the more discussed things right now, so we should...
I thought we discussed them.
They had some interesting jewelry.
On the face?
The face jewelry on some of the ones in the...
It was all... And everything was very elaborate.
They had scorpion costumes.
Yep.
They look like goddamn Orcai.
What's
a
that?
little bit.
Yeah.
From Lord of the Rings.
Well, there was that one dude...
The orcs.
The one that was kind of a dickhead with the red face paint. He was...
Is that Cole?
No, he was one of the hologram ones who fucked off
There's
later.
another one?
Was that Cole? I don't know.
I think we're going to see him more in
is the Klingon warrior from the House of Kor, the internet tells me.
Oh. The House of Kor?
Oh, wow.
The House of Kor! It's settled then. I know about Vok.
What?
Okay.
We all know who Kor is. Kor.
Kor's our good friend.
Oh.
We know who Kor is, so we know who the House of Kor is. It's Kor's house. Well, This is a little spoiler, a little DS9 spoiler for you all.
And are we going with this?
Kor, Koloth, and Kang, and Dax, at this time it would be Curzon Dax, all take a blood oath to defeat and kill an albino. And they have to, and they go on a mission. Yeah. They go on a mission together in the distant future to hunt down this albino. Now, it's never really said if the albino is Klingon. He doesn't look very Klingon, but neither of these guys. So I'm thinking maybe there's a connection. Maybe the albino was Vok.
That would be amazing.
Can I just tell you that if you're right and that no one else has thought of this shit, that you're just... I mean, either way, you're amazing, but this is fucking
it was
stellar.
obvious that Call, or whatever his name was, did not care for Vok.
Yeah.
He was already predisposed to disliking him. Yeah. He thought he was vermin, and I'm pretty sure...
Well, yeah, but I
and the albino calls Klingons scum or something. I can't remember what he said. He says something nasty about Klingons in the DS9 episode.
In the DS9 episode.
Yeah, so I'm going with that. I'm going with...
I like it.
Core, whatever, something later is going to happen that's going to force this blood oath, and which means we might meet Curzon Dax, which would be fun.
Oh, that would be kind of interesting. Then it would feel like fucking Star Trek to me.
Speaking of fan theories, from what little we do see of Captain Lorca in the little, coming up on Discovery bit at the end.
He's not even in these episodes.
No, he's not. He is already seeming kind of unstable and weird. And I feel like maybe the internet really is onto something with him potentially being Garth of Garth.
Yeah,
because he's got some weird shit on his ship and all this other stuff. And
also, now we did see the next time on.
Yeah.
So is the implication that the Discovery is a prison ship?
No, it sounds like he has her pulled aboard because he needs her for something.
Her for specific reasons.
Yeah, she's there on work release or whatever the hell they call it. Oh, but this one thing I wanted to bring up, re the Klingons, is I saw an article a little while ago that suggests that the look of them in this is actually based on a design pass they did when they were first redesigning the Klingons for the motion picture.
For the motion picture?
Yeah.
The 79 or so motion picture?
Yep.
Wish we could have seen what that would have
looked like. Well, and that's probably why they didn't do it.
I think they look like horseshoe crabs.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can sort of see it, especially once we've seen those hermit crab aliens on the planet as well.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what's going to be
lots of crabs.
The opening scene of the next episode is going to be them peeling off their masks and revealing that they're just regular bronzer 60s era Klingons. Be like, we sure scared the shit out of those Federation people.
Brilliant.
But the one thing, though, that they didn't keep, thank God, was that in this drawing, the Klingons only had 3 fingers, and they kind of looked like tentacles. So they at least decided...
For her pleasure.
Oh.
But they did have, really,
long fingernails, yeah.
Pointy fingernails. That's kind of...
Well, they were like claws.
Almost. Yeah,
when Vok, clenched his fist, I'm like, ooh, that's gonna gouge.
Yeah.
She also Burnham mentioned the Klingon being warrior caste, which is interesting, because there was a never-produced... Star Trek Phase 2 script that would have gotten into more detail about Klingon culture, well back before Klingon culture had really been established, that was going to have a more explicit caste system and a lot of other stuff happening there that I kind of wonder if they referred to that when coming up with this idea.
So do we think the idea is that Tukuvma is a... we find out in the second half of the pilot that his father was disgraced or something.
Somehow, yeah.
And it seems to me that maybe they're followers of some cult.
Vol. They're feeders of Vol.
Well, because there's this thing, I can't remember where it's from, but something I think must have been Worf said or something, that Klingons do not worship the corpses of fallen warriors.
No, really.
And that because they just look at the corpse as being a shell, and that the warrior has ascended to Stovokor.
Huh.
Obviously, in this episode, it's a much different because the fallen, they literally cover their ship with the corpses of the fallen.
Yeah, but that does seem unique to this one vessel.
And also, maybe they'll change their policy given recent events.
Yeah.
No.
Shit.
Whoops, lol.
Womp womp. So things, though, that I thought were actually a bit more Star Trek, though. First of all, this little nod I noticed to Star Trek 2. When they activate their red alert, one of the screens has the same graphic that the Enterprise screens will have when it goes to red alert, including on one of the cyborg's face screens.
Nice. I hate that cyborg.
See, I wanted to see more of the cyborg.
I'm
pretty sure it's
died.
dead.
Well, maybe there'll be one on the other ship.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe it's just a standard, something that comes...
It's like R2-D2.
Yeah.
It looked like a fucking DJ in a club that would play house music.
But yeah, it's a bit
Dead
Daft
Mouse
Punk.
and Dead Cyborg.
It was there was a cameo in this episode by Daft Punk.
Yeah. But,
Or twerp.
what I liked too, though, other little things was, we're talking about her thruster suit and how sort of advanced it looked.
Way more advanced than
what Spock had. But underneath that, I'm not going to try to explain the hard shell part, but underneath that, the actual spacesuit was, to me, kind of reminiscent of the awful shower curtain spacesuits we get in TOS, because it's this glittery, sort of uncomfortable-looking material.
Vast. You mean the hazmat suits that you can just scratch your nose on there?
Yeah. But it was also the same material for their spacesuits, I think. But yeah, it had that sort of, that just weird patterned look. Also, the little cowl she had to wear inside the helmet is very
Bedazzled.
I mean, it's also that's something they actually astronauts today wear in uniform still, but not something that Star Trek astronauts are usually depicted as wearing. So it's this sort of, again, this midpoint between the real world and astronauts today and Star Trek in the future, where they just keep their hair loose in helmets and somehow doesn't float into their faces. Oh God, what else was there?
A lot of hairspray.
Yes. I'm trying to think. There were other little things.
She talked the Brig to death.
Yep. Convincing a computer. She didn't talk it to death, but she argued with it successfully. I loved that.
I missed Magel's voice.
Well, Magel's dead, so...
This one sounded too friendly.
I also enjoyed, what I thought when her thruster suit was counting down. It just reminded me of the countdown on the Excelsior before it sputtered to death with its ridiculous car noises.
He's doing a countdown!
No, there were many ways, like little ways, subtle ways, that it still felt like the core was there, even if they built on
the House of Core.
Yes.
There it is.
Even as I said it, I knew someone was going to do it.
I had to.
Yeah, you did. It's fair. I don't blame you. But they built on it in a slightly weird way, but it's not completely, I think, unrecognizable. Again, maybe I say that because having watched, I think, more Enterprise than most of the table, I can sort of see the connection they're making from there. It still looks like a less comfortable ship than the Enterprise will be. You can argue it still looks far more advanced, because that's just the reality of making television. But they do a good job of making it, like I said, look a little less... You can't relax on that bridge. Yeah, it's all very metal and hard. You get the sense the chairs aren't nice to sit in.
They're always exploding.
I liked how when the guy had to make his manual calculations, he used literally a hand calculator.
A calculator, yep.
When they had to do, the pilot actually had fucking a proper hand controls, not just buttons. She had joysticks and a...
Yeah, and I did like that, there were obviously a lot of floating, touch-screeny looking holographic images, but I did like how that the controls all looked like they were tactile.
Which is, important for older Trek. They do seem to be taking some ideas from the Kelvin timeline, though, because the viewer seems to be more sort of a virtual window with, you can have individual sub-screens.
Yeah, not even a virtual window. It was just a window. They showed it from the outside. I'm not sure how I feel about just... Although, I have to say, something that I've thought a lot about Star Trek, and I think I even said this in the fucking Star Trek 2.
You did. I was waiting for you to...
They have a fucking telescope that when the fucking ship, when the sensors are broken, they can look out with a telescope.
I thought you'd like that.
And I did like that. I was like, God damn it! Why don't they do this all the time? Because it seems to me the sensors get fucked up a lot. And it could be nice every now and again to just be able to look through a telescope and be like, yep, there's Khan. Shoot that way.
His Washington invention is why she have one.
Yeah. Paid 2 ham sandwiches for it.
Because, I don't know, I don't actually know what nationality
the Russian currency
Georgio is, but it seems Russian to me.
Who?
The captain, Philippa, I don't know how to pronounce her last
name.
Giorgio. It seems like...
Philippa is a nice name.
Philippa Giorgio, which it does seem like it, it could
Philippa
be...
Latinx? Wasn't Philippa Sue, didn't she play Eliza in Hamilton, and wasn't she...
There was definitely a Philippa Sue in Hamilton. I have no idea who the hell she was.
Was it with a PH or an F?
I think it was a PH, but I could be wrong. Go on.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It feels like it could be a Russian name, and
I don't know. I feel like they'd have I wouldn't say Russian. If you told me Giorgio,
I would Italian or something.
Yeah, I would go Mediterranean Greek. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, it could also be like Greek, maybe.
Yeah.
I think she might be Chinese.
Might be.
That's just a hunch.
I mean, yes,
the actress is Chinese.
Michelle Yeoh is, yes. The actress
is Chinese.
But, it's the future, and, her parents...
And when she and Pa would have hit it off.
Saru was born in San Francisco.
I liked Saru a lot.
I
really hope we see more of him, because he seems not...
Well, he's a regular, as far as I know.
Yeah, he's going to be a regular.
Though,
I don't know, I feel like the only following Michael around, doing almost 90% her story, and then the Klingons means that I wanted to know everything about the rest of the bridge, and I didn't see anything. Like Carter, the guy who wanders into the bridge looking for medbay because he's an idiot,
and then gets sucked into space.
It's like, I wish I knew you better, buddy.
Well, here's the thing: is that I think that there was this is my biggest complaint about the show, is that I do not suspect, and I can't say this for sure, but I do not suspect that these 2 episodes are going to be reflective of much of the rest of the show.
That's an interesting point, yeah, because if the ships are all destroyed, and if we're going to meet a new captain next week, presumably,
right. Yep.
In, what's his name?
Gabriel Lorca.
Garth. The captain of the Discovery, which we haven't even seen the Discovery yet, and this show is called Discovery.
Yeah.
These first 2 episodes are more just set up for what the actual series is.
I almost feel like, obviously I think that the studio probably wanted to start things off with an action-packed battle, and I don't know, it's so, okay, it reminds me, so the opening of the pilot episode of DS9 is...
trippy as hell.
Well, yes, but the opening moments of it are the Battle of Wolf 359, so it's a battle very much like this one. It's a massacre. The Federation just gets absolutely stomped.
Yep.
Sisko's wife gets killed, spoiler alert, for the first 2 minutes of the pilot.
Yeah.
And and that's sort of the same thing, right? It's like this setup, this horrible thing that happened that really shaped the character of Sisko.
Yeah.
But that was 2 minutes at the beginning of the pilot.
Yeah, and then you met the rest of your cast and saw what the dynamics would be.
Yeah, not a huge chunk of your season now.
2 whole episodes of your season.
Well, 1 episode.
Though they did, I will say, show an admirable amount of restraint.
What?
Well, because the way they advertised it, and I rather hoped this was going to be not indicative of the premiere, and it wasn't. But the way they advertised it, the first, episode was just going to be constant explosions. As it is, it was a lot of talking, trying to figure out what to do. In that way, very Star Trek, in that they were sitting around talking, trying to figure out how can we avoid combat, and it does finally happen, but it happens towards the end.
I felt like in some ways it kind of dragged. I felt like it could have gotten to the chase a bit quicker.
Oh, my God, it is Star Trek.
Yeah.
I thought it went along at a pretty okay clip myself.
Yeah, I thought the pace was good.
I don't know. I felt like that first episode could have gone. Okay, first of all, the opening scene on the planet.
With the little
hermit crabs. With the well.
Oh, and they called it General Order 1, not the Prime Directive.
Right.
Which I enjoyed. Sorry, go on.
I'm going to say that was an unnecessary scene. Didn't need it. Didn't affect anything.
Yeah, I think they were trying to set up the dynamic between first officer and captain.
But it was. I just felt like it was an odd place to start the show.
They really wanted a desert world, and they got you a desert world, Jake.
And they really wanted to have we drew the Star Trek sign on the grass and ship sauce.
I will say though, why isn't there standard issue desert gear? They had completely different outfits, completely different goggles. What?
I mean, why didn't anybody in the original series ever have a fucking flashlight or something?
Well, yes, but damn it, their uniforms matched.
Sure.
But yeah, so I felt like that part could have been cut. I think we could have probably opened with... Well, we did open with Takuvma, but I feel like we could have gone right from Takuvma to we're investigating this destroyed
Beacon
probe or whatever that's dead. Yeah. And then and then I don't know. I just felt like it took a lot of time doing things, and I would have liked it if these two quote unquote 2 episodes were condensed into a single 45-minute episode.
Whoa!
That we got the introduction of the characters, we got the battle, we got the destruction.
But then why would you have to go watch CBS All-Access for that? Jake?
Right. And
I also feel like 45 minutes wouldn't be quite enough. Then it would have felt rushed.
Well, really, it should have been a full hour. They shouldn't have put commercials on it.
Yeah,
that's what they should. Like that's what you do when you care about a show. You do a full hour premiere with no commercial breaks.
I mean, the problem here is a problem you see throughout media. The creators of media usually, not always, but usually care. The problem is networks, studios, publishers. They don't. CBS clearly doesn't care about Star Trek, except thinking maybe we can make some money off of it.
Well, of course.
I think the people that made it cared. I think they cared a great deal. I think that, for all they've done some crazy stuff, and let's be honest, this is kind of a soft reboot.
Yeah.
Like, they're not... They want to insist it's going to fit very neatly in the Prime timeline, but it already doesn't. But that's fine. Because I feel like enough of it is right that I believe the people behind it give a shit. I don't think CBS gives a shit. I think CBS are fucking monsters.
I also don't know. It does kind of... Okay. I'm going to reserve judgment because it could make more sense later. Mm-hmm. But I don't see what the impetus for setting this series when they did.
10 years prior to
10
TOS.
years prior to TOS.
So we can have Harry Mudd.
That's a good reason.
You could have Harry's Mudd's great grandson instead. I don't know.
No, Harry Mudd's great granddaughter, Stella the Fourth.
There you go.
Who was actually just a robot.
But I don't know. I feel like you could have had a similarly interesting series premiere that was essentially the same show that takes place after Voyager or after DS9 or something. I mean, yeah. And then you wouldn't have to... I just feel like they handicapped themselves by putting it here because now they have to adhere to certain rules and restrictions and every time they don't, they're going to get... I feel like now they're going to have to adhere to all these canon rules and they're not going to be able to. And every time they don't, a lot of fans are going to flip their shit. And I know we're not the type of people that would do that. We understand that
we never go off on canon.
Yeah, canon is canon. But a lot of people
catch canon.
Yes. A lot of people aren't as forgiving of the canon thing as we are. And I feel like they could have just there's nothing specifically I don't see yet that is this had to have gone here in the timeline.
The politics are more interesting.
They could have had the similar politics
but I also think watching them have stumbling blocks and not quite knowing what they're doing yet will be interesting because maybe we get to see some of
those Enterprise.
They did that.
Well, I haven't seen that yet, and Enterprise was supposedly terrible, so maybe they want to do it well.
Better than people say.
Maybe. I suppose. I don't know. I just think that there's probably they could have told the same story, because here's the thing, right? After DS9, the Klingon Empire is kind of fucked up. They've just had political turmoil, and the time could be ripe for
seeing how
somebody bring back the old ways.
Yeah, seeing how the Klingon story fits in before TOS is going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, we know that there was a hot war with the Klingons prior to TOS. That's referenced.
Yep.
So, I mean, I also think that they should have given themselves more than 10 years before. I think it just,
maybe 15, 20.
We would definitely be seeing ships that looked like the Enterprise at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, again, we will. It's early days.
Yeah, we know, we talked about this a couple times during the series, but there's only 12 in the fleet by the time of Kirk. Mm-hmm. So right now there's maybe 2 or 3 bouncing around. And if they're new and super high tech and
why wasn't I was really hoping that that Admiral Starfleet's ship would have they would have panned up and it would have been a Constitution class.
Yeah.
I literally would have come in my pants.
It would have been
if they had panned up and it was a Constitution class.
Yeah, but then it would have got
and then they identified him as Robert April.
I think you just got some on my foot.
Oh, I think I got some on
I
your
can see the
microphone.
stain on his trousers. He actually a little.
Okay.
Well,
That's good.
actually, you know what? All joking aside, they probably weren't in range.
The Enterprise?
The Constitution classes were clearly
Deep
meant
space.
to be deep space, long-term exploratory vessels. So they were probably off in the middle of fucking nowhere.
That's true.
So they couldn't be quickly recalled.
All right, I'll buy it.
That's probably the kind of thing they can use to kind of explain where they are for the
They
next...
are almost always the only ship somewhere in
Right,
the
that's the
vicinity.
thing. This is the one time there were a bunch of ships in the quadrant. That's why they couldn't be there. They have to be the only ship in the quadrant.
But also, this wasn't the events here taking place at the farthest reaches of Federation space. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Presumably-
They were
listen,
going to check out a relay, right?
Space goes in all directions, guys.
But also, presumably,
Ooh,
the farthest
good point.
reaches of Federation space in the Beta Quadrant, since they're near the Klingon border.
Well, this is also
these
space.
fucking
Space
nerds.
does go in all directions.
It does.
But remember that galaxies are disc shaped. They're not.
Ours is.
Well, yes.
There are a few that are more spherical.
Yeah, but I think generally things.
Generally,
tend to
yes,
fall
but there's one or
into
two
disc.
that aren't quite as neat.
And yes, they're disc shaped, but they're not like two-dimensional. There's width.
Wafer-thin.
Wafer-thin?
That was-
Slide it under a door
Oh
jam?
god, that's right, guys, you just reminded me. They
Oh,
broke
no.
one of the cardinal rules of Star Trek. And I'm so happy. Ships met not like perfectly fucking like
That was
level.
nice.
The Shenzhou is kind of off kilter as compared to the Klingon Doom thing.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
I also thought that, again, part of me is like fanboying, and I want to see things that I recognize. So like,
Wow, you're the worst fan, Jay.
I know. Like I say, I would have jizzed myself if I saw the Constitution class. I was excited enough to see something that sort of looked like a Miranda class, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, did you spot the one with 4 nacelles? It was like a little,
Yeah,
a little
I
spotted
constellation.
that.
Yeah. I hope that's the Stargazer. I hope Picard's on there. Only
He'd be
80 years
negative
before
80,
he was
yeah.
born. But it was a little weird that none of the other Klingon ships looked like
Klingon ships.
Yeah. They all like the Klingon aesthetic of their ships was all very Kelvin verse.
I did want a D5.
A D5
Just
would have been
one.
nice, but they I can understand the main ship, Takuvma's ship, being
It's a unique, weird bastard.
that's something that his dad built. It's a temple, it's a castle in space.
Although, it does have a roughly, it's got the sort
It's
of
got
the
the
big
shape.
bulbous head, the long neck, and then the body. So
It does have the shape,
the silhouette's there.
but I would have liked it if some of like the other ships that showed up were more recognizable.
Well, if
designs.
you know how you could almost explain that, though. This is a point where the Empire is apparently in disarray. So there may not be a standardized military. So there isn't sort of a standard... These are like head of house ships.
Yeah, it's true.
And if this is the point where they're all sort of in conflict, they're making ships that are supposed to sort of impress one another. So like, it could be...
They didn't buy their ships from the Romulans yet.
Right. So they end up, maybe after they reunite, they sort of make things a little more standardized. That's when you get the more familiar Klingon designs. And there's things in there. There's that one small ship that had a sort of bird of prey-y feel, things like that.
I'm wondering what Caitlin thinks. Because Caitlin's been quiet.
But what, the show?
Sorry, yeah, we've gone full nerd. I apologize.
Yeah, this happens.
We went really, really... even for us, that was bad.
You can cut it off.
No, it's great.
No, I really liked it. I actually really liked the uniforms. I felt very
They were
Chris,
sharp.
because I was like, oh, those uniforms are snazzy. I really like Saru.
Saru's
Looking
gonna
forward
be
to
cool.
getting to know Saru
He's
better.
great.
What is his actor's name?
Getting to know
Doug
you.
Jones.
Doug Jones.
Getting to know
He seems
all
cool.
us.
Does seem
Saru.
He has been.
That's nice, Jay.
That was good. I looked him up earlier, and he's apparently been married to the same woman since 1984. So he also just seems like a stand-up guy. That's nice.
Maybe she's got dirt on him.
I mean, he's certainly a stand-up guy. He's like 7 feet tall.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh,
Tall
sorry.
drink of water there.
Yowza.
The one thing that did seem a little weird about Saru was that he's from a species that seems to be just sort of a little sort of cautious and timid. Why the fuck would he join Starfleet?
get some babes.
Fair enough.
I feel like he's got skills that are useful for Starfleet.
Like being able to sense death.
Being a massive pussy.
I mean, then again, he's the one that came up with the beginnings of the germ of the dump a torpedo on them idea, so there is a little bit of deviousness there, which I hope they mine.
I don't know. He mostly wanted to run away.
Yeah, but at the end, when
Which
it came
is a good
to
idea.
it was. They should have listened to him, especially Admiral Starfleet. Long may he rest in peace.
Well, I think he'll rest in peace forever.
Yeah.
Long may he not come back from the dead.
Yeah, no, his ship got bisected.
There were a lot of things that I thought were really cute, though, in the show, or interesting. I liked the, when Michael was getting ready to go out in her little spacesuit, and our boy at the boards was doing his little, thank you for flying American Airlines spiel.
Yeah,
which
this is your captain speaking.
I did wonder, though, and I know I said this to you guys already, but I did wonder if, that would even still be a thing during this time period. Are people still, actually using airplanes for leisure? Are they using teleporters, transporters,
Do their
whatever?
pilots have to dictate anything?
Yeah.
Instead of, we're there, guys.
Yeah, 2 seconds. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I thought that was cute, but I kind of wondered if... and I loved that it was there, but I kind of didn't know if it was...
Everyone in Star Trek is obsessed with the 20th century.
This is true.
So this guy is just part of that whole thing.
Except for the Squire of Gothos, who was obsessed with the 17th century.
Yeah, and for all we know, I mean, it could be. I mean, planes could still be being used on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, planes could be used, but would they give the same exact spiel?
Why change it?
Yeah, I mean...
Gotta have those tray tables up.
You gotta figure...
Yeah, but how a plane works probably changes. You don't have to say, the emergency exit is there, because the emergency exit is we beam you out of the plane.
I mean, I'm with you.
Maybe.
I don't know. That would mean each individual seat would have to have its own personal teleporter unit.
Yes.
That sounds risky and very energy consumptive. It sounds unreliable.
But, yeah. So, I don't know.
But yeah, I wouldn't be
I
surprised
think
if there's planes on planets, just because I'm sure there's plenty of transporter phobes.
Yeah, and plus, I would anticipate that
Phobics.
Transporters are probably not everyone has one in their house.
Well, I don't have an airplane in my house. I can still use one if I have
Yeah, but you
somewhere
have
to go.
a car.
Yeah, but I don't dictate my drive in my car. On your left, you'll see.
But if Google has their way, it'll be dictating our drive to us sooner than later.
If my self-driving car fucking talks to me, it's gonna be a deep shit.
Well, you could program it to not. But then, if you're driving through an unfamiliar city, you could be car, enter tour guide mode. And then it would, tell you all the sites. Yeah, okay, so that, the tray table airline comment brings up an interesting thought I had, too, is that, aside from that, there really wasn't much, if any, kind of levity.
Nope. There was one more moment of banter on the bridge. Saru and Michael agree about something about the Klingons, and Captain Giorgio
Philippa.
Right.
is make note of that, helmsman. LOL. They just agreed on something.
Yeah, but that was basically it in an hour and a half of show.
Ames, you hate fun. What do you want?
I just want to know.
This goes back to my the tone of the show is very different because it's hyper serious, it's hyper drama, and it's
Science fiction
is drama of today.
Science fiction isn't allowed to have fun anymore, Ames.
That's
They did away with
Well,
that.
it could.
It's going to be interesting to see...
I don't know. Chris watched The Orville.
It's going to be interesting to see how this tone deals with Harry Mudd, because we know he's showing up.
I don't know. I hope they do find...
Kidnapper.
I hope they do find ways to add some levity to it. I mean, I would be very disappointed if we go through a whole season of the show without one.
They will bring that music back, ironically, for the most horrifying chase in the series. There'll be nothing funny about it, and just the juxtaposition of that music with whatever the scene is just no!
It's gonna be it's gonna be like the in-series yakety sax, except that they're being chased by a monster made of knives.
And red shirts are just getting fucking pulped right behind whatever. I guess not red copper shirts. I guess. I think copper is
What's
operations.
baser than copper? Maybe they're tin shirts.
Well, no, because the colors are gold, silver, and copper, or bronze, maybe.
Rock shirt.
Peter means rock.
Full circle.
Another thought I had there. Oh, how people in the on the show have been talking about how Starfleet's all about exploration, and then that boy was very upset about that they were fighting in a war because a lot of folks who were critical of the series up to the premiere were complaining that Star Trek should not be about war. That it should be about exploration. I like that sentiment was echoed by the characters as well.
Well, it's probably been a while since they had a proper knockabout, because the last big one would have been the Romulan War, which was, 80, 90 years ago at this point?
Quite a long time.
Yeah, so... I mean, there's obviously been at least the occasional conflagration, just because...
conflagration?
I'm using that word wrong yet. There has been the occasional dust-up, though, because the way Giorgio talks, she has seen...
some shit.
Firsthand, so... But yeah, it's probably their first major one since the Romulans.
Guys, we had...
Screaming and the blood.
We had our first... Well, I had my first touch dicks of the series, guys. when the two Klingons are like, some people might say the color of your skin is a mistake by nature, but I see a mirror in which I see myself. And I was just like, touch dicks.
It wouldn't be
touch dicks.
a star to steer her by if we weren't touching dicks.
I mean, we wondered for a little while if Saru's dick has the little fins on the side.
I hope so, because I think that would just feel excellent.
Ooh.
Do you think Michael Burnham, having been raised by Klingons, by Vulcans, has Ponfar?
So actually, I was going to say that earlier, but I forgot to, was who do you think had to sit her down to explain to her she wouldn't have Ponfar?
Well, I mean, she does have...
Amanda?
I know.
She does have some of Sarek's Katra in there, so maybe she does.
Huh.
Whoa.
Let's hope the show never addresses it, because I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have to bang Amanda then?
I guess so. Well, only Vulcan males go through Ponfar.
Yeah, but if she's got a little Vulcan male in
Wait,
her...
the women don't? I thought they did.
Maybe they do... I don't know if it's ever... was there ever a T'Pol Ponfar episode? I don't know.
Oh! No, but yes.
No,
she
but yes.
caught, some kind of space bug that caused it to go off early. So yes, women
they
can.
do. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when there are space bugs involved, I don't think that's...
No, but the way she talks about it...
I just remember Saavik saying that Vulcan males have it every 7 years.
Well, because she's talking to...
Yeah, but she was also ready to go.
But I thought that she was just doing her wifely duties.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was sort of thinking of when you were asking the question. I was like, yeah, of course women don't go through it because a woman's pleasure isn't important. It's the 60s. Who cares?
But no, that's the thing, is she's just talking to David.
Right.
And we know Vulcans don't like to give the full story to people, especially humans.
Yeah,
so it's it's the men, just the men.
Yep. Yeah, the Vulcan. The trick to defeating the Klingons is to kill them.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Thanks, Sark.
Well, just to shoot first. Not necessarily kill them.
Yeah.
Shoot first. Kill a couple of them.
If you punch the fat kid that's being bullying towards you, he won't bother you anymore.
Your first day in prison, Michael, make sure you stab a bitch.
Right.
Yeah, she probably should have called the Andorians, see what they did. They probably had a better plan.
Yeah. No, the Andorians were just like, fuck you. We're
Right,
Andorians, you dick.
Yeah, she did call the Andorians. She called literally everybody before calling Sarek.
There's actually a much longer version.
Yeah.
Calls up a Tellarite. What do you guys think? Leave me alone, I have weird eyes.
It hurts to use this hologram machine.
Yeah, the hologram machine now, that's
new.
and a weird anachronism
Yeah.
that they've introduced.
Because they don't even use them come, next gen times and
So
shit.
there's one episode...
Next gen, the production didn't have the technology.
Well, that's what I mean, though. It's still just
Well, there's one episode of DS9
Oh.
where they install a holographic device on the bridge of the Defiant so that they can talk to people over the hologram. But it's it's obviously only there to probably save money, because in that particular episode they're talking to a bunch of different people on different ships, and they would have had to make background sets for all of them. So to get around that problem, they just have the actor stand on the bridge of the Defiant.
In a blue light, right?
Not even, lit, but not even not really looking like hologrammy at all.
Yeah.
That's really funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was, in that episode, it was ooh, this new technology that we've just discovered.
And we'll never see again.
And they could only stand in a small little
these are the
octagon.
people that have holodecks, but they don't have holographic communication somehow.
Because when they realized they could make hallucinations, they gave up on all that communication bullshit. Who fucking cares about that? I can fuck anybody I want inside this room.
But yeah, the holographic communication, the holographic FaceTime, did feel a little Star Warsy.
Although it served a similar purpose here, to what you were suggesting for DS9, because they didn't have to make a shitload of bridges.
Yeah,
we never saw the bridge of the Europa. We didn't see the bridge of all the other Klingon ships.
Yeah. That's pretty.
We just saw. We didn't see what the hell room Sarek was in that apparently had a desk in the same exact spot.
I really loved that. I know it was goofy, but I loved it
too.
So much.
Even though it was good. No, it was amazing.
I loved it.
He just sat down. It's like he's gonna sit down and. He's trying to be the cool dad.
See, I wonder
let's have a chat.
Because he's a Vulcan and he's trying to one-up everybody at all times because Vulcans are the superior race, if he just knew that there was a table there and he's just kind of squatting.
He has awesome core strength. And
yeah, he would. He's a Vulcan.
Actually, you know what it is? It's not even...
Vulcans have built-in ass desks.
You know what it is? To make the viewers more comfortable... The computer actually just simulated it. He wasn't leaning. It just knew that he had moved to that side of the room. So it tweaked the hologram to make him sit.
I mean, that could be.
It's a computer you can have an ethical debate with, so...
Without killing it, though.
Yeah, which is very advanced.
And I actually liked that. Not just because it was a return to form, but I liked the, reasoning.
Yeah, no, when I realized she was debating with the computer, I was so happy.
Ugh, of course.
Just
So, yeah, I'm interested to see more. I'd like to see the other ship. I wish I'd seen it last week, but fuck you, CBS.
Yeah, no, I'm, like I said, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Interesting to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what happens next. Nice to have new Star Trek finally.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of this, but I'm also excited next week to actually watch some Star Trek.
Any thoughts from you?
Don't forget to tip your yeoman.
No, not that.
I really like this show. I'm not even just cautiously optimistic. I feel optimistic.
Good. Well,
I think it'll be fun. And also, unlike you guys, I've never watched a Star Trek series while it was happening. Yeah. So this is, kind of a big one for me.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun, Hope. All right, well, next week, we will return to our regularly scheduled programming, the previously promised Star Trek IV, the one with the whales.
A baby fucking wheel!
He's gonna save this fucking
wheel, Jay!
Jay, we've never fucking seen anything like this before!
What is that, Jay?
It needs fucking help, Jay!
You gotta call the aquarium or something!
It's a baby wheel!
Yeah, we gotta kill this thing!
Let's fucking catch it! There's probably some good fucking meat there, Jay!
The baby fucking wheel!
So join us next week for that. For a star to steer her by, this has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And this is always Jake!
Wheels! Oh, and if you found us via random searching, we are on Facebook as A Star to Steer Her By. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as SSHB Podcast. We are doing a proper rewatch. This is sort of a little one-off for us. So yes, thank you very much for joining us.
Try not to Vulcan neck pinch your superior officer.
That works.
Look how stern you were about it.